Hi, I'm Sneha.
Hi, I am Nikki. We are from Mumbai.
So our first delivery was in Mumbai 4 years ago, and for our second pregnancy, we wanted it to be a VBAC. And as soon as we got the news that we are pregnant again, and our search for a care provider which supports VBAC in Mumbai started. Even though we had heard about Birthvillage, from a few mommy friends of mine over the last 2-3 years, I always knew that it was a great place to birth, had a dream place to birth, but because of the distance, we weren't really considering it from the beginning. So our search for a VBAC supportive care provider in Mumbai started, and so almost every other weekend we were trying to speak to care providers in Mumbai, trying to understand the kind of VBAC deliveries they do, and also their success rates. But unfortunately, we were not able to get the sort of confidence that we were hoping for, and we had some sort of regrets with our first delivery. The kind of the way it turned out, we didn't want that to happen in our second birth. So as a very desperate attempt, we thought we'll get in touch with Priyanka. They have such amazing VBAC success rates. We thought she probably might know of somebody in Mumbai who does this kind of work. One call with her changed everything. Like not just this pregnancy, she helped us address our queries which we had from our previous pregnancy, previous birth as well. Even though she wasn't present at my previous birth, she was able to understand everything so well. I mean, I was really amazed with the kind of knowledge she had regarding everything birth related.
She laid out the perfect path in front of us, and all we had to do is hold her hand and walk down that path. To everybody who is thinking, how did we travel from Mumbai to Kerala in 36 weeks of pregnancy? It was a great journey, and we initially thought we would fly, but there were a lot of complications involved where people wanted certain certificates from doctors. Somebody wanted a practitioner to travel with us, so we thought let's do a train journey. It was approximately 24 hours. We knew it would be a ride, and we thought let's do it. We have been doing a lot of great things in this pregnancy. This might be another one to add to that list.
They advise me with all the small things that I can do that will make my train journey pleasant. And we thought it would be a 24-hour journey, but unfortunately that day the train got delayed by 6 more hours, so it was 30 hours. But trust me, like, we didn't even realize, like, it was as smooth as anything. Yeah, I remember he had made a list of all the stations that would come on the way, and worst case if I get into labor on during our journey, so he was ready with the list of care providers or hospitals along the way. But touch wood, nothing of that sort happened. So actually in both my pregnancies, the labor started in a typically similar manner. They were 4 years apart, but in both the cases the labor started spontaneously, exactly on the due date, and the birth happened on the next day. But the way things were handled in the previous birth and this birth, they were very, very different. And just to summarize quickly, in my previous birth, I dilated till 10 centimeter without, any inducing or anything. But despite that, it ended up in an emergency C-section due to some reasons. Even though the family members and everyone kept on saying, "Oh, but end of the day, you are healthy, baby is healthy, so it really doesn't matter. It's okay even if it's a C-section." But deep in my heart, it wasn't really okay with me, because even in my previous pregnancy, all I wanted throughout, all that I worked for in the 9 months was for a safe, normal delivery, but that didn't happen. And somewhere I wasn't convinced with the reasons that, the care provider last time gave us. So even though like, I tried to forget it and move on, because back then we really weren't planning for a second baby. But as soon as we realized we conceived again, I didn't want it to end it the same way as it did the last time.
So we were completely always on the lookout for an honest trial, and we were okay even if this time it ends up in a C-section, as long as we are very sure that an honest trial was given. Whatever we wanted, we actually went through the process rigorously. At this time, her age was also a bit different, but when we spoke to the team here, they assured us, it is just a number. As long as you are fit, you are able to do whatever is expected. all these things would be behind us, and we will be able to have a very safe and a normal delivery this time. This time I was also involved, which is a very different thing from what we did last time, and we gave birth to this cute little monster a week back.
So this time in our second pregnancy, my labor started spontaneously on the due date, 28th of April, roughly around 4 in the afternoon. To our surprise, the gap between two contractions was 5 minutes apart. Like they didn't start very slowly; they picked up pace, instantly, and we were surprised that this is the stage where typically you are supposed to go to the institution, instead of waiting at home. So I immediately contacted the Birthvillage team, and they had a long call with me, and the intention was to find out if I was able to speak to them and while I had a contraction on. And in that call they mentioned that it didn't really look that urgent, or to come to the place, so they suggested to wait at home and labor as much as possible at home. So I did all the techniques, all the methods that they had taught about, all the coping mechanisms that were already both of us knew. So we started doing that at home.
Around 10, Sneha told me that the pain is quite high and we should actually contact the center and go there. So it was raining heavily that night. We booked a cab. We came here around 10:30. We reached, and she was checked. And at that time also, we were told that yeah, labor is there, but it is not yet active. So we believe that you should go back home and let the labor progress naturally, because that is what would happen best at home.
So what we failed to look at, the Birthvillage looked at the larger picture, that we had a 4-year-old with us. When do you get admitted in the institution can actually make a huge difference, because in my previous birth I was made to get admitted at the care provider at 1 centimeter dilation against my will, and this time we wanted to be admitted at Birthvillage at 3 centimeter, in the middle of the night, middle of the rains, but still they said it's in your best interest, your family's best interest. I was actually able to rest. I'm surprised how, but I was actually able to sleep for those 2-3 minutes between every contraction, and trust me, it made a huge difference in the morning. Like my energy levels were better. We were mentally, at a much, safer place at home. Our 4-year-old was sleeping in front of us, and we came back to Birthvillage at 6 in the morning when the pain really got unbearable, and they just took it from there. We just surrendered to their team, and they had so many things planned for us, all the walks, all the movements. They just kept the momentum going, and I'm surprised, like within 6 hours the baby was out.
One of the points which Priyanka ma'am had mentioned in our initial calls is, while she would be in labor, there would be very active monitoring of everything that is happening during that time, be it the baby's heart rate, be it her blood pressure. It was, I felt at that time, too good to be true. This time, I was able to see all entire team was with us throughout the journey. The baby heart rate was being monitored every 15 minutes. There was a constant method and constant process. These things should happen. She was walking throughout the journey. She was doing exercises, which I believe helped a lot, and those were probably the primary reasons where this entire experience was much different from the first one.
So in my previous birth, after the 10 centimeter dilation, the thing that happened was the baby failed to descend, as expected, and I was put on a timeline that I'll be given just 2 hours to push. If the baby doesn't come out in those 2 hours after the 10 centimeter dilation, it will be a C-section. So I had this, timer, back of the mind, I had this stress, and I thought that at that point in time, I thought that after the 10 centimeter dilation, the descent, the urge to push comes naturally. So I was feeling like a constant failure back then, that, oh, why is the baby not coming down and all. It's only now that after this, interactions with Priyanka and the Birthvillage team, that I realized that it's not really necessary that the urge to push comes as soon as the 10 centimeter mark, is reached. So there were so many myths that were broken this time. So this time I was mentally prepared that there could be a gap between when I reach the 10 centimeter mark and when the urge to push starts. But to my surprise, there was no gap this time, and probably nobody in the room was anticipating this. I started to push on my own. There was no instruction given from anyone. all I remembered in my head was, to trust my instincts, and that's what I did this time. All the points that we had in our birth, wish list, all of them were met. Much more than that was done. I still can't believe that this really happened. So something my own mother kept telling me, throughout, as soon as she heard that, I'm trying to attempt a VBAC in Mumbai, she said that, once a C-section, always a C-section. Later on, it became a VBAC in Kerala. So, we had challenges at so many levels that, we thought that, we'll inform the family members a little late in the process. And, my dad came to know about our move to Kerala just 2 days before our delivery. So throughout the 9th month, our family was under the impression that we are sitting, comfortable in our home in Mumbai. As long as we both were convinced, we both were on the same page, we thought, we'll not listen to any negative, comments.
We don't know about a lot of other countries, but definitely in a country like India, we need a lot of Priyankas and a lot of Birthvillage teams so that these experiences can be percolated down to different cities of the country.